Hi, it's your Aunt Hillary, and I'm going to read you a story. I'm going to read The Three Little Pigs today. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house at the edge of the woods. One of them was a little small baby bear. One of them was a medium-sized mother bear. And the other was a great big father bear. They had each a pot for their porridge, a little pot for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized pot for the middle bear, and a great pot for the great big bear. And they each had a chair to sit in, a little chair for the little small wee bear, a middle-sized chair for the middle bear, and a great chair for the great big bear. And they each had a bed to sleep in, a little bed for the little small wee bear, a medium-sized bed for the middle bear, and a great bed for the great big bear. One day, after they had made their porridge for their breakfast and poured it into their porridge pots, they walked into the woods while the porridge was cooling, that they might not burn their mouths by beginning too soon to eat. And while they were walking, a pretty little girl came out of the woods. She saw the dear little house and walked up the little path. First she looked in at the window, and then she peeped in through the keyhole. And seeing nobody in the house, she lifted the latch, breaking and entering. Don't do that. The door was not fastened because the bears were good bears who did nobody any harm and never suspected that anyone would do them harm. Again, breaking and entering. Don't do that. So little Goldilocks opened the door and went in. And well pleased she was when she saw the porridge on the table. If she had been a good, polite little girl, she would have waited till the bears came home. And then perhaps they would have asked her to breakfast, for they were good bears. A little rough, as the manners of bears is, but for all that very good-natured and hospitable. But she was a naughty little girl and set about helping herself. So, first she tasted the porridge of the great big bear, and great big bear, that was too hot for her and burned her tongue. And then she tasted the porridge for the middle bear, and that was too cold for her, and she dropped the spoon on the floor. Then she went to the porridge for the little small wee bear and tasted that. And that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right. And she liked it so well that she ate it up. Goldilocks was very hungry after her walk in the wood, and the little porridge pot did not hold enough for her. Then she sat down in the great big chair for the great big bear, and that was too hard for her. Then she sat down in the middle-sized chair for the middle bear, and that was too soft for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the little wee small bear, and that was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. So she seated herself in it, and there she sat till the bottom of the chair came out, and down she came plump onto the ground. And and she was not very pleased about that, I can assure you. Then this naughty girl went upstairs into the bedchamber in which the 3 bears slept. The first she lay down upon the bed of the great big bear. But that was too high at the head for her. Next she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and that was too high at the foot for her. And then she lay down upon the bed for the little small wee bear. And that was neither too high at her head nor at her feet, but just right. So she covered herself up comfortably and lay there till she fell fast asleep. By this time, the 3 bears thought their porridge would be cool enough, so they came home to breakfast. Now Goldilocks has left the spoon of the great big bear standing in the porridge. "Somebody has been at my porridge." The middle bear, said the great big bear with his great rough gruff voice. Then the middle bear looked at hers. She saw that the spoon was lying on the floor. They were wooden spoons, but the floor is not the right place for them, is it? "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle bear in her middle voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his, and there was a spoon in the porridge pot, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little wee small bear in his little wee small voice. Upon this, the 3 bears, seeing that someone had eaten up the little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about, as you do when somebody breaks in. Now Goldilocks had not put the hard cushion straight when she rose from the chair of the great big bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great big bear in his great rough gruff voice. And naughty Goldilocks had squatted down the soft cushion of the middle bear. "Somebody has been in my chair," said the middle bear in her middle voice. And you know what happened? Know what the naughty little girl had done to the 3rd chair. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom out of it," said the little wee small bear in his little wee small voice. Then the 3 bears thought they had better make further search, so they went upstairs into their bedchamber. Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillows of the great big bear out of place. "Somebody had been lying in my bed," said the great big bear with his great gruff voice. She pulled the bolster of the middle bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle bear in her middle voice. And when the little small wee bear came to look at his bed, there was the bolster in the right place, and the pillow in its place upon the bolster, and upon the pillow were spread the golden curls of the pretty little girl. "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Now, Goldilocks had heard in her sleep the great rough gruff voice of the great big bear, but she was so fast asleep that it was no more to her than the roaring wind or the rumbling thunder. and she heard the middle voice of the middle bear, but it was only as if she heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little wee small voice of the little wee small bear, it was so sharp and so shrill it had awakened her at once. So up she started, and when she saw the 3 bears on one side of the bed, she tumbled herself out the other and ran to the window. Now the window was open because the bears, like good tidy bears they were, always opened their bedchamber window when they got up in the morning. "Stop her!" cried the great big bear in his great rough voice. "Stop her!" cried the middle bear in her middle voice. "Stop her!" cried the little wee small bear in his little small wee voice. But Goldilocks jumped out the window and down the little path and was swallowed up into the dark wood in the twinkle of an eye. Got away. That doesn't happen when you break and enter. Don't do it. Okay, that's the end. Again, Aunt Emily is a weirdo. I love you and I miss you. I can't wait to see you again. Bye.